A Texas candidate and former teacher said that transgender children make her uncomfortable, and she's actually furious about the fact that she and other children are unable to bully them. If you don't believe me, check out this video featuring Shelley Luther, who's running for Texas's House District 62.
I don't know any other counties that are more Bible Belt conservative than this district, and it's the Overton window. They have AOC in Congress on the left. And what we have done is become comfortable with what is okay in our society. I am not comfortable with the transgenders, the kids that they brought in my classroom, when they said that this kid is transgendering into a different sex, that I couldn't have kids laugh at them like I couldn't have like other kids got in trouble for having transgender kids in my class. That's why I vote for school choice. And my opponent is completely against school choice. Thank you.
Okay, so look, that was insane. I think anyone who has a reasonable mind and heart knows that that's insane, including, by the way, the gentleman on the stage as she's making that statement. I want you to pay attention to his facial expression as she says, I don't like that kids can't make fun of them. No, we gotta watch it again. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
I know you're chomping at the bit. I know you have some thoughts, but we gotta watch it again. This time, don't pay attention to her. Pay attention to the guy on the stage.
I don't know any other counties that are more Bible Belt conservative than this district, and it's the Overton window. They have AOC in Congress on the left. And what we have done is become comfortable with what is okay in our society. I am not comfortable with the transgenders, the kids that they brought in my classroom, when they said that this kid is transgendering into a different sex, that I couldn't have kids laugh at them like I couldn't have like other kids got in trouble for having transgender kids in my class. That's why I vote for school choice. And my opponent is completely against school choice.
That was hilarious.
That was amazing.
Yeah. So now I couldn't even have the other kids laugh at them and bully them. And the guy's like, hey, that got his attention. And when I watched that clip the first time, I was like, did the volume go off? Because I think she realized that she'd clowned herself.
She stepped in it.
Yeah,
100%.
and then she paused for like 4 brutal seconds. Right? And then she's like, no, I'm sticking with it. And the real problem is the transgenders and how we can't mock them, okay? I mean, all the other kids were having fun mocking them and then they get in trouble for it. What the hell kind of country do we live in anymore, huh? Said Shelley Luther.
Yeah, seriously. No, and also, I think, look, obviously that statement overall, insanely ignorant. But if you really want that ignorant, the ignorance is crystallized in my mind when she says the phrase, kids are transgendering.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's a terrible story, but it was hard, not to be amused by the depth of her ignorance, right?
Insanely ignorant.
Yeah, and then they bring the transgenders in here, and there's transgendering all over the place. And now we can't even bully them. I remember the good old days. I mean, we'd do much worse. As the most evangelical, district. The one that is the most religious, and hence the one that would be the most hateful. That didn't used to be hence. People used to, I think, in the old days, follow the teachings of Jesus Christ, where he said, "Be decent to one another and turn the other cheek and help the poor and the needy." Now, the most evangelical district means the most hateful district. So sad.
Yeah, I mean, and also the other thing is, I remember, I'm old enough to remember when the Covington kids, the right-wing media was just incessantly pointing fingers at Democrats for bullying the Covington kids, right? They were the ones who were in DC, they were protesting to ban abortions. Obviously, I don't agree with them, but they're high school students. And so I just think when you're dealing with kids, when you're dealing with minors, hands off, okay? But this woman is just like, When I was a teacher, I was super annoyed that I didn't get to bully these transgender kids. Like it's insane. No, by the way, like of course we're talking about it. It's getting a little bit of attention, but Democrats are just such failures. Like I'm just specifically thinking about their campaigning. They wouldn't exploit this situation. Like, and when I say exploit, use it to your advantage if you're running for office, right? Paint a picture of what Republicans really are. They won't do it.
Fight for your voters.
Yeah.
Fight effectively. I mean, look at what happened in Virginia. Terry McAuliffe, the dumbest, most corporate candidate you've ever seen in your life. Youngkin was a massive right winger. And Youngkin said, just because, now they want to teach racism in the schools. This is the Democrats are doing a war on parents. The schmuck, McAuliffe, couldn't just turn around and go, no, you're doing a war on teachers. Teachers are supposed to teach math. And if you say 2 + 2 = 6 and we want you to teach that, you're doing a war on teachers. You're doing a war on math. And we're not gonna stand for it. We're gonna protect our kids. No, instead he was like, I'm sorry, I don't mean it, I don't know, okay. God, Democrats are so useless. If you're, look, that's a very Republican district, right? Democrat, what do you have to lose? Why don't you run super aggressive in that district?
Yeah, have some fun.
Right? Well, you know why? Because the national Democrats would take away your money. Go, no, we prefer civility, and the media would pile on and go, we prefer civility.
They wouldn't even support the Democratic candidate because they have a defeatist mindset, right? Like, of course, I mean, there's no way that the National Party would actually support that candidate. But one thing that I want you to know about this woman, Shelley Luther, she's also very like blunt about banning people from attending Texas schools just based on their race or their background. She once said, Chinese students should be banned from attending all Texas universities.
Oh, come on. And note, by the way, that in her speech that we showed you, one of her points of emphasis was school choice.
It's amazing. Yeah, amazing.
But that's the right wing mind. They think, no, I have all the choice. You have none of the choice. I have all of the freedom. You have none of the freedom. No, that's not called freedom. That's called oppression. And she looks back at those days fondly. Look, I remember when Steve-O told the story, he used to be on air here, about when he was growing up in the 1970s and 80s here in America, right? And he's Asian. He said every day they would use Asian slurs against them. The other kids would. And that's how they would just commonly refer to him. And it was just devastating to his psyche. Those are the days that she looks back on with nostalgia.
Yeah, totally.
Like, when you saw an Asian kid, the only Asian kid in class, and you could just call him that name over and over again, and everybody would laugh at him. And Steve talked about that too. A girl thought that he was cute, they thought that, and then they made fun of the girl for liking the CH word, right? And the whole class laughed. Those are the days she looks forward to. Like, oh God, wouldn't it be great if we went back to those days? And by the way, that's not at all hyperbole, because she's not just talking about transgenders. We just read you the quote. She said, let's ban the Chinese from our colleges.
She's just a sad, hateful woman. Like, there's really no other way to say it. I mean, I pity her, because imagine what a miserable person you have to be to have that level of hatred in your heart.
And let me say one more thing from my perspective. What sucks is that she's run for office before and she's lost. She lost her last race by 13 points. Because of this clip, she's more likely to win, not less likely to win. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.